Mo Salah, is he going to end up at Al Ittihad in Saudi Arabia? The back of the Daily Mail, Simon Jones and Lewis Steele, two good journalists, are telling us, Al Ittihad set to come in with an eye-watering £118 million bid for Mo Salah in this very window. Let's get more on it. We'll find out from the Saudi end of things. talkSPORT Saudi reporter is Ben Jacobs. Ben, good morning to you. What do you, in terms of credibility, what do you give this this story in terms of a chance of it actually coming about in this window?
Well, I think the things we know are that Al Ittihad are going to try because they want Mo Salah to play in the 2023 Club World Cup. And that means a formal offer is expected to be tabled at the time we're speaking. One hasn't been, but it is expected to be. And I think that there's one goal, which is if it's going to happen, it has to be done before the close of the European window. And Liverpool would then presumably scramble to bring in a replacement. If it ends up dragging on into September, Liverpool are in a stronger position just to shut the door. But Al Ittihad mean business. The offer, to my knowledge, is actually going to be a bit higher than that £118 million that you mentioned. It's a starting position of €100 million guaranteed. That's about £85 million. But the add-ons are a bit more flexible. And I think Al Ittihad are looking at more like £130 million now, see whether they can tempt Liverpool. And then it will all just depend on, one, do Liverpool stick to their position, which is not for sale? And two, does Mo Salah in any way try and force the move? And if Liverpool stick to their position and Salah doesn't try and force the move, then this is all just buzz and headlines, but nothing will come of it.
I mean, Liverpool are saying at the moment, Ben, as you know, no negotiation, not having it. But in terms of Salah's own camp, there's bound to be interest, one would think.
There is, for sure. And the silence from Salah's agent is a little bit deafening when you compare that to August the 7th, when he said that Salah was committed to Liverpool. All the agent would have to do is reiterate that, retweet that. In fairness to Mo Salah, he's been posting some pictures on social media of him training at Liverpool. He's quite calm about the situation. But the reason why the Salah camp are open to this is because they want the move. It's just a case of, does it happen now or 2024? And if it happens now, Salah earns more money because he gets a bigger signing on fee. And in addition to that, there's all kinds of incentives tied towards the Club World Cup, which won't be there in a year's time. If Salah waits until 2024, he's a year older and he might be millions less rich. And in addition to that, Al Ittihad are pushing now because they might not be the club in 2024. My understanding is that in a year's time, the dynamic changes, the deal makers allocate the club at the last minute. So maybe it becomes Al Hilal, maybe it becomes Al Ali. It will also depend on who wins the league in this forthcoming season. So Al Ittihad are a bit jittery to try and push and get it done now if they can. It's a difficult type of transfer to pull off. But if they can be successful, then not only will it make a big statement, but they'll get a player that they might not get in 12 months' time.
So there's very much legs in the story, Simon. Of that, there's no doubt.
I don't doubt there is, but I really understand the principles of how you do business in this fashion. Because if you're going to make an offer to a football club of significant amounts of money, why would you do it at the very end of the month? So you give them no opportunity to potentially say yes. Because then you give them no opportunity to be able to spend that money elsewhere, unless it's a contrived position between Liverpool and the Saudi club that they can't spend this money and subsequently can bank it because they can't buy anybody because they've got no time to do it.
But, I mean, traditionally, some of the biggest deals that happen very late in any window. I know that for a fact. And this one could be the biggest of the lot.
Not to this level. Not to this
maybe not to, we haven't seen this level before.
No, but not to a player that's an absolute fundamental key component of the perceived success of a football club. The reaction to this will be, this is a player that being sold will dramatically weaken Liverpool as a football team. They've got no ability to replace him, and unless they're going to stay with the resource that they've got in place, which we've already discussed. So on August the 7th, did this Saudi club, Ben, had they made contact with Liverpool and made them an offer on August the 7th?
What do we know, Ben? I mean, have they been nibbling in and around this story for some time, Al Ittihad?
Yes, I mean, the approach to the Salah camp actually happened in May before the window opened and has been continuous. But the message from the Salah camp is that he's committed to Liverpool. So it would be a U-turn on the perspective of the player. And money creates that kind of position. Remember, Jordan Henderson turned down the offer originally from Al Ittihad and changed his mind. Why? Because of the money. But I think that, to Simon's point, we should also just say the flip side, the devil's advocate position, which is, why'd you bid this late in a window? To make a splash. There can be an optics element. Why was £100 million placed so late in a window if there was little chance of success. And one theory is it's the same as the Kylian Mbappe bid by Al Hilal, which was 300
attention.
euros. You make it, yes, because you want eyeballs on it. And Simon, you'll no doubt know when you've done deals and you're a club, you don't want to put out you've got that money because it can weaken you in the market. But these deal makers don't mind. They're quite happy to just show a financial flex because it's creating buzz, it's creating headlines, it's ultimately
absolutely.
having to have a conversation.
I don't question the veracity of whether there's a deal to be done. I'm questioning the reality of trying to get a deal done by having all the moving parts. In order to get a Mo Salah out of Liverpool, there seems to be a variety of different things that might need to happen. One of them is Liverpool having an innate ability to be able to replace him. And if you're bidding for him at the end of the month, you're not giving Liverpool that opportunity. So you're removing one of the planks or tenets of a deal-making opportunity. That's why I start to think, well, hang on a second, isn't this just about background noise? And if they hadn't made an offer to Liverpool in August, and they can talk to who they want, and the motivations of Salah's camp that will profit from it themselves, it's kind of irrelevant. But in August, on August the 7th, they would of course turn around and say he's committed to Liverpool, because if Liverpool have had no bid from the Saudi club, then they can't say anything else, can they? Now they've gone silent, because if they are indeed being bid, then they'll say something slightly different, because there is something more than just noise in their camp. There might be noise in Liverpool's camp. But I find it strange that anybody would think that you can do business by taking a key asset from one club and not giving that club the opportunity to be able to replace that asset. It doesn't make sense to me.
I must admit, Ben, I don't know about you, but some months ago, if you'd said to me Ronaldo will be playing in Saudi, Benzema will be playing in Saudi, and and then the list goes on as long as you want. Who's to say this doesn't happen?
Yeah, exactly. I think we have to just see how it plays out at this point and whether money talks. And remember, if Al Ittihad is serious, the first formal offer, should it be rejected, won't be the last formal offer. They're quite prepared to go up and up and up. And sometimes there's a delay as well, because the Ministry of Sport have to approve the funds. It's not easy in terms of the logistics of these deals, but ultimately Al Ittihad want to try. They're going to push. There is a noise element for sure. They want the world to know that they're trying to take a prize asset from Liverpool, but that doesn't mean that they're not genuine. So I think we have to watch this one until the final hours of the window, or until Mo Salah or his agent actually come out and draw a line under the situation. Klopp did that at the weekend. His words were, the story is over, but Salah has not yet echoed those comments. And until he does so, this story will always have legs.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.